What's going on, guys? ThePartyKnife here. Now, if you're wondering why is your head so humongous when you're playing Shade, well, here's the thing, guys. I have no head. You see? There's no head there. But how's that possible? How can I have both a humongous head and no head at the same time? That makes no sense. What does that mean for my brain? Does that mean I have a huge brain or no brain at all? No one knows, me included. So stop asking stupid questions and instead enjoy the view as we dive down, literally dive down into the mechanics and builds of the absolutely amazing super ninja warrior known as Shade. Oh, my friends, welcome. ThePartyKnife here. Now, I was just sitting with this tiny, puny little knife. Very puny knife, yes. But you know, I've coated the tip with the most dangerous substance known to man. Coronavirus. I'm not even gonna bother today. Too much stuff to go through. So, guys, what up? Welcome to this video. Today, we're gonna be looking at Shade, because the mastery guide I've done for Shade is, you know, slightly outdated by now. And I happened to have an absolutely incredible quick play team the other day when I was queuing at like 5 or 6 a.m. in the morning, and I just meant to have like a little relaxing chill game. And so I quick played Kata, I got into a group, and they decided, no, we should do a Kata deed. Okay, so we did that. But I only had one deed left for Legend. And that was a you fall, you die, you don't respawn deed. And it was on Skittergate. But since we also queued quick play on top in order to get better loot, but it then rolled Skittergate anyways. So that's what we did. And if I'm being perfectly honest, in the beginning I wasn't expecting that, you know, a random quick play group, I wasn't coordinating us because, you know, 6 a.m. in the morning, so I wasn't talking that much. Only spoke like 3 times like during the whole match. Yet we breezed through it without a qualm, no issues whatsoever. So props, credit to my entire quick play team that day. And firstly, as always in these videos, we're just gonna go through a few basic steps here, talking a little bit about the Shade as a hero, as a class. And I'll sort of showcase a couple of builds, not put in as builds, but I will talk a little bit about the talents, which ones you should always select, and which ones you can sort of vary up depending on your own personal preference. Now, one thing that's important about Shade is her ability to backstab. Critical hits backstab instantly slays man-sized enemies. Now that's important, but we'll get back to that. Now you're pretty much always going to be picking Cruelty and Assassin. That's pretty much just universally true. Now, for level 20 talent, you can either grab Vanish or Blood Fletcher. I think most people will prefer going for Vanish, but you can make a really good case for Blood Fletcher. Let me put it that way. But both are completely viable. Then we have Spring-Heeled Assassin and Glade Runner. Now, if I were you, like unless you're an extremely experienced Shade player, you're gonna be wanting. You're gonna want to be running Glade Runner. Now the reasoning here is really quite simple. Spring-Heeled Assassin, whilst it might in theory be better, in terms of consistency, it just isn't unless you really know what you're doing. Because the problem is with Spring-Heeled Runner, let's say that you know, most people die and you have to sort of make a run for it. The problem is then becomes that unless you critical hit an enemy, you no longer have the movement speed you need to sort of run in a straight line without getting hit in the back. You do with Glade Runner, and that's a really important difference. So you don't have to worry about having to critical hit something every 5 seconds in order to pull off sort of a save of your team, a clutch if you want to call it that. And for that reason, I suggest going Glade Runner most of the time. Then we have Cloak of Mist and Cloak of Pain, which represent 2 very different styles of playing Shade. Now, I have to say that, no, we'll get back to that momentarily. In terms of temporary HP, I would suggest going Kane's Thirst over Bleak Vigor, even if you're running Cloak of Mist. I think Bleak Vigor is hopelessly inconsistent, is the word I was looking for. even when you have those guaranteed critical hits, you have to keep in mind that the way it works isn't per minion. So let's say you do 1 slash here with one, like with sword and dagger, for example, and it's the sword slash, and you critical headshot 4 minions, then you still only get 4 HP. However, if you are using a dual wield weapon, then you can get 8 HP, because the 2 blades count as separate entities. So with a heavy attack, for example, you would be able to get 8 HP on a critical headshot. But it's just still, in the best of cases, it might be like, when everything is going your way, it might be slightly better than Cain's Thirst, and in every other conceivable scenario, it just doesn't perform as well, as consistently. So for that reason, I prefer Cain's Thirst, but you can go Bleak Vicar. It's not crazy to do so, let me put it that way. But really, for me, the bigger thing I want to talk about here is Cloak of Mist and Cloak of Pain. Now, I'm not going to lie, Cloak of Mist is hopelessly broken at the moment, and it needs to be nerfed. But I also don't like it. That might seem weird, but I genuinely dislike the talent Cloak of Mist, because I think it takes shade and it puts the skill floor, or however you want to put it, extremely low. Extremely low. Not only is it broken in of itself, but it's also, it takes away all the skill that is otherwise, like, not entirely, but a lot of the skill with Shade is the ability to manage your ulti, not to waste it. But when you're using Cloak of Mist, it's just like you're invis half the time, and you, like, I don't even think it's that bad that you can sort of take out a whole Stormvermin patrol, fair enough. I mean, that in of itself is insane. You can also do that with Cloak of Pain, but with Cloak of Pain, you need to actually play well to do it. With Cloak of Mist, you just do it. So, admittedly, of course, you don't have the boss damage the same way you do with Cloak of Pain. Yeah, Cloak of Pain. But I dislike Cloak of Mist, I really do. I'm not a fan, I have to say. But that being said, it is likely the better talent these days. Not by much if you know what you're doing, but if you don't know what you're doing, then it's definitely the better talent. That much is for sure. So for that reason, I would suggest a talent build that looks like either this or like this, like with either Cloak of Mist or Cloak of Pain. That would be my suggestion for most people. But again, you can vary those talents that we just talked about as you see fit. Yeah, I think that's most of the things I have to say about this. Yeah, one more thing. Keep in mind that it's, and I talked about this in my other guide, it's incredibly important to realize that you regenerate half a second of your ulti for each minion that you hit. So that is to say, if you slice through 4 enemies, that's 2 seconds of your ulti. So that's really important to know. Now here's just a showcasing of the execute mechanic. That means that if you're running Cloak of Mist, and also Cloak of Pain on your second attack after using your ulti is also going to be a guaranteed critical hit. But of course, with Cloak of Mist, all of your attacks for the next 4 seconds are guaranteed critical hits, and a critical hit from behind an enemy that is man-sized is a guaranteed execution. Now, the only 2 regular minions that are not man-sized are Chaos Warriors and Banners. Okay, so those are the only 2 minions that you cannot execute from behind, other than, of course, bosses and lords, right? Now, in terms of items, so need some water here. I still prefer the sword and dagger. I think it's the most versatile of the Shade's weapon, but there are 4 acceptable melee weapons. There are the dual swords, of course, still with crit chance and block cost reduction. Now, the advantage of those is that they cleave through more enemies, making it easier to do these executions and regain your ulti. Then you have the dual daggers, which have incredible speed and incredible armor damage, which makes them even better at sort of attacking elites. And just the mobility of those are absolutely amazing. They have the highest dodge distance in the game. And surprisingly, to some of you at least probably, is that the last acceptable weapon is the spear. Still with crit chance and block cost reduction. However, that's only viable with Cloak of Mist, not with Cloak of Pain. So if you want to run Cloak of Mist, the spear is not a bad option at all, because of the safety it provides and the distance it allows you to keep to the enemy minions that you are trying to kill. That makes it incredibly strong, because again it gives you that little bit of extra survivability and range, which means you don't have to be all the way up like in the back of minions in order to do those executions. And even when you then find yourself in a situation where, oh shit, you know it happens sometimes, you get stuck after your first executions, and then for some reason you hit a minion that doesn't proc vanish, and then suddenly you're there in a bad position and you need to survive, right? And in those situations in particular, the spear really shines. But personally, I'm still a fan of sword and dagger. As for the ranged weapons, you might hate me for saying this, but I think there is no contester at the moment to the longbow. There's just isn't. The hackbane shortbow and swiftbow are both alright, but they're just nowhere near as good as the longbow. They just aren't. Like they're playable, they're viable in that sense, but they're not competitive in the same sense. At least not in my opinion. And as for the volley crossbow, I wish it wasn't horrible, but it is horrible. I'm sorry, it is. I love it. I love the look of it. I love the feel of it, but it's just not good. I'm sorry. Now, as for the longbow and the charm, you want to be running infantry 𝒮𝔞𝔤𝔢𝔯𝒮𝔮𝔲𝔞𝔡 and 𝒮𝒮𝔞𝔤𝔢𝔯𝒮𝒮 and attack speed. That's one of the two options I prefer. The reasoning there is that you need 30% to one-shot, body shot, and assassin on Cataclysm difficulty. You can adjust it for legend, of course. Then you don't need 30, I believe. And as for the other cata build, I would like to run armored chaos. Crit chance chaos, and then attack speed chaos. And the reasoning there is that you hit the one-shot headshot breakpoint on beastigores. So that's another way to go about it. But again, personally, I prefer the one-shot on assassins, because assassins are usually one of the things that screw me over, right? And you can still one-shot headshot in every special. On top of that, I like crit chance and stamina recovery on Cataclysm difficulty, and I always run stamina and health on the necklace with bark skin. Now, it's important to note that even if you're playing legend and then you need curse resistance, but stamina recovery is more important than crit chance, regardless of your build. Okay, it just is, especially if you're running Cloak of Mist with the guaranteed critical hits, because then you don't need that extra critical hit for that. You got guaranteed critical hits all the freaking time. So the 5% critical hit chance is not going to provide very much. So the stamina recovery is just way more important. Way more important. And even with Cloak of Pain, I would still say it's more important. So yeah, that's the build. Those are the tips for the build. And momentarily... And so yeah, those are my build tips for the Shade. A quick overview on her, and I was using, in the game we're about to see, I was using actually the Cloak of Mist. I knew I had to show some of that off, right? And it was a pretty relaxed game, considering what we were doing at least. So, but yeah, let's move on to that. Now first, before we get to the actual game I wanted to show you, I just thought I'd show you guys two clips of weird shit that happened to me recently in quick play. Now, the first up here we were playing Warhammer, and I'm sure you might have seen this glitch happen before in some iteration, but like, notice the chat in a moment. I'm jumping, now I'm about to go right, I'm like, what happened? Whoa, fuck! I was just not prepared for that. I was just not prepared for that in that moment. You can just imagine, you just open the chat, you're midair, and the moment you land, you're still typing. It's like, whoa! Like, thankfully, we managed. Nothing happened. This was my warm-up game to the to the Skittergate game on Cata. So I warmed up to this. This was a legend game, so thankfully it wasn't an issue. And then I joined this quick play game and I was like, wait, what? Like, I joined right as the elevator came down. I was like, this might be a problem. And I couldn't get up. So I just ended up having to kill myself. There was really no way around it. But I never had that happen before, so...
Think you're clever, do you?
I know I'm clever. No. But moving on to the actual game, we're gonna watch here. Again, playing as Shade with the Cloak of Mist. Which again, I think you can also see throughout the game that This is not the shade build I'm most used to. It's not my preferred shade build. And yeah, keep in mind that I'm playing it pretty safe for a very good reason. I make a couple of mistakes early on, but you can sort of see as I get into the feel that things start to look better. But I find it amazing that this random group of quick play players managed to not die a single time, not even fall, right? Once throughout this whole game. So definitely props to everyone involved.
When the Skaven unleash their sickness on the world, the weave always.
And in case you didn't catch it, it is a Cataclysm indeed, quick play. With both no respawn and you drop, you die. I'm about to explain damage reduction.
Stop showing off! You'll never be as good as Okri.
They changed it so it like before it stacked additively. So you know, additively 20 and 20 makes 40. Now it stacks multiplicatively, which is good for damage but bad for damage reduction. Because that means, you know, it reduces by 20%, and then the next 20% are calculated with the remaining 80 as 100. So therefore, the more stacks you have of damage reduction, the less valuable they are. And that is true. That is how it currently works. So it's better to have one stack of 40% damage reduction than to have two stacks of 20. Because two stacks of 20 are only 38.
Dust.
And that was, you could see, that was not what I intended to do, okay? And you know, you can't really make mistakes like that in a... you drop, you die, you don't respawn, so... So props to Kruger for following me down after that happened and giving me the compound. Again, that's really good teamwork. Again, not a lot of teams would have done that. Like that was my mistake. I made a mistake there. Yet Cooper, instead of whining about it, he tried to compensate for it, and that is the correct mentality. So definitely got paired here with a group of way above average Cataclysm players. So, which does happen, to be fair, but I'd say it's not often you get a group this good that are all like scattered average, you know, just 4 random people that haven't played together before.
Repulsive contraption, that is our target.
And you can use the animations a little bit to your advantage. You want to be careful you don't get stuck inside those minions when they're dropping down. That does happen sometimes. When they drop down on top of you, suddenly you just can't move. But we just... you know, it got a little bit close, right? Just one hit here and I'm dead. Nope, I'm just gonna drink it. And apparently someone already grabbed the healing down here. That surprised me. I was planning to pick it up otherwise.
I'm losing blood. I bet you wish you were at the Jade College now, Sienna.
You fell for the rattle girl. You're getting better at this.
And, you know, it may not have been pretty, but we managed.
I'll take care of that wound, Sienna.
If I recall correctly, I'm about to tell them that if we beat this game, it's definitely going on YouTube. And here it is.
Where would I be? Hold your breath, Dory. Glade monks. Poor little hook rat. What a shame.
If we win this, it's definitely going on YouTube. I couldn't get up here. Don't know why. And even more so, actually, this was an incredibly short and quick game. That's another thing. Oh, this is a really good tip. I'll leave the compound here so we have it. Exactly. Boss fight.
Right.
It's like me and him think alike. No, assuming we make it that far. And you could hear it there. I was still skeptical at this point. I was like, yeah, I'm not sure we're gonna make it that far. Because, you know, I might be able to carry a lot when needed, but you can only do so much solo on Cata versus the Skittergate boss. Like, it's possible, definitely possible to beat it solo, but there are no guarantees. Okay, let's put it that way, right? And again, this was a shit o'clock in the morning, and I wasn't feeling it that much, so I wasn't confident in myself either when it came to that. But as it turned out, we breezed through everything, like without a qualm. We even like had a really horribly pulled Chaos Patrol, and we just annihilated without a qualm. So yeah, I don't know why I keep saying without a qualm. I think I saw some movie or some shit where they used that term, and now it's stuck in my head. Also, I was really sad when I was the only one to fail this jump here, right here, because I usually always nail it. Like, I could do this jump. And don't think I can't.
So, where did Lorna say we're looking for this gate?
I'm in a good mood today. Like in my last game, right when the first drop down, no, the second drop down on War Camp, you know, right after the tome, I had a Chaos Patrol spawn, like literally half a meter away from me. Yeah, exactly. Just the moment I dropped down, roar! Like what? I woke up like, what, 20 minutes to 10. We're 21:39 at the moment. And I woke up maybe 5 hours ago, 4 or 5 hours ago. And I finished my CSGO video, made the thumbnail, got it uploaded. And then I'm recording this as we speak. Oddly enough. It would be very oddly if I wasn't recording this as we speak. God damn. Can't even get the headshot. Scrub. Oh. There's about to be an assassin jump where I thought I made an amazing flick. Like for a moment I was like, whoa! That was sick! And then I realized that someone else had actually hit it before it reached my crosshairs, which is what caused... I'm gonna show you guys again here real quick, in slow motion. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do the flick here, time it, and I actually thought I was the one who hit and killed it for a moment until I saw the kill feed. I was like, wait, what? And then I looked back and I was like, oh, he actually hit it before that, and which is what caused it to never reach the place where my crosshair was. Stealing my my flick shot. God damn you, dwarf! God damn you, Elka! How dare you ruin my flick shot? But what I think is really good to take away from this match. Oh, I also just realized I forgot to put curse resistance off after playing a legend game earlier. Oh yeah, so that's right. I forgot that I had forgotten that I didn't have curse resistance. That I had curse resistance on for the whole game, which meant I had no extra critical hit chains. But as I said, that's not so important. But try to take note again of the teamwork without communication. It is totally possible to do. Again, we weren't talking together. We weren't communicating that much. There was just enough experience on the team for everyone to know what to and what not to do. Which is also how at first I watched through the game and I was like, but this was actually for the most part a really boring game to look at. Like there are a couple of exciting moments, don't get me wrong, we'll get to a few, but most of it was actually really boring. But the thing about boring games is that usually something is boring when it feels easier, right? But on sort of the scale of Vermintide for most players, this would be incredibly hard, incredibly difficult. It's Cataclysm and you are not allowed to make any mistakes, right? Because one mistake, you die, you're out of the game for the rest of the match, right? And once one person goes, it's more likely the next person goes, and so on, right? And you have a
You wanna climb the mountain?
again, in the context of things, fairly difficult boss fight at the end. Which means that the likelihood of any given one person just clutching the rest of the map, you know, running off, are, you know, a lot smaller. Not impossible, but a lot smaller. Now we're gonna get to the Chaos Patrol. I was kind of trolling around here, guys, because they were doing well, so I was excited. I was like, hey, we actually have a shot here. Let's all jump up the mountain. Which was a really horrible idea, to be fair. Like, I missed that shot. No one saw that. Hit the second though. And I thought, okay, maybe I should jump down and, you know, help my teammates. And that's when the Chaos Patrol came.
Aim like a goblin.
And this is not, let's just be clear about one thing. This is not a great place to fight a Chaos Patrol, okay? If you want to fight a Chaos Patrol, this is not where you fight a Chaos Patrol, okay? Have a wall on one side, a ledge on another, okay? This is a horrible place to fight a Chaos Patrol. Absolutely horrible. Oh, I could have popped my Concord, but I decided not to, because again, everyone was playing so well that, like, it's not like we almost wiped or almost died or anything like that. In fact, we killed it so quickly that the specials didn't even have time to arrive.
One less gunner rot hell. Northland brother.
But again, that's because the teamwork.
You say you guys are pretty good for a random quick play team. Maybe we'll have a shot after all.
And I stand by that. All credit
Everyone
to
is
them.
playing really well.
Disgusting little
Everyone is playing really well. You see how we're sticking together, almost like it's not that we're next to each other 24/7 because we don't have to be. But as soon as anyone realizes someone else is in trouble, they just automatically they're just there, right? No words have to be exchanged. Again, here I'm a little bit ahead here, but there's no danger right now, right? So that's totally fine. But as soon as shit goes down, shit hits the fan, however you want to put it, everyone just helps without having to say anything, and that's really where you want to get to. Normally, for 4 players to get to that stage with one another, that can take a long time.
Search the camp, these lies. We need the
Like I've had
treasure.
several sort of groups of people that I've been playing with over the course of Vermintide's existence, where I've had, you know, a team of players that I would play with on a regular throughout several months, and you know, it rarely looked this good in the beginning. Let's put it that way. Like this would be a month into having played together several times a week, right? Before there was this untold communication that was just present, and everyone understood, you know, everyone else. Not to mention that the battle was 200 ping and was playing from NA.
Let's make it quick and painful.
Let's be real, this is just a glorified bot lore. At least the first half of the fight. Easy peasy.
Take your feet up and step lively now. These jobs need to be the gate control.
Burn the exile check.
A harder proposition than most. No stopping at all. Speak. Warming up. Warming up.
See how no one's running off in this area?
The shadows hide me.
Again, it's not that you have to be next to one another, but you have to be in a place where you can help your team if they're in trouble. That is absolutely crucial. Again, whoops. Now there was no bump for me, but this was not the plan. No, just Just kidding. Again, grabbing items for your teammates makes them like you. It's a really good idea. Even like if you see a bomb and you're like, it's quicker if I grab the bomb, give it to my teammate, and then grab the other bomb. It's a small gesture. It's a really tiny gesture, but it's nonetheless a gesture that makes your team go, ah, I like this guy, right? Like, I actually want to save him if he, if he needs my help. Although, to be fair, if one of us drops, there's not really much you can do, right? Because if they drop, they drop. But that makes it so, like, all the more important that no one's ever in a position where they're gonna drop, where they feel so unsafe that they're unable to drink healing, patch themselves up. Even grab 2 tomes. Guess we could have grabbed the 3rd, but didn't really care that much, to be honest.
Can you please stop shooting me, Bardage?
Yeah, bud.
More primitive healing supplies.
I missed that first shot right there. You see, here my positioning was suboptimal compared to my team, which is why I then, whoops, as soon as I had aggro here, oh, I did not spot that minion though. I safely ran back to my team. Again, you can, there's nothing wrong with strafing off a little bit. Again, like I did there, but there was no inherent danger, and as soon as there was danger, I did I ran straight back to them, right? Because again, there's no need to take the risk of getting owned on your own.
I need to heal. Show some patience.
Seems to recall getting hit here by something. What maybe it's happening? See, I looked around and he's already been saved, right? Oh yeah, that was the one I was thinking about. It hit me from freaking down there.
I am lost beyond words.
And that was not so well played by me, but it is what it is. Well, also that shot right there.
One last gasp from the sorcerer. It's about to get a lot hotter.
But it's a minor detail, since you know there's going to be healing at the end.
Wait, the gate!
Well, even this works. The gods smile on us today, mates. So far. Get down to the warp contraption things.
I know I haven't said a lot this round about positioning, but that's because like if you're a new team and you were trying to, let's say, do the same thing, right? It might be a good idea to select certain spots and be like, we fight here. But honestly, when everyone was good enough on this team and understood the game well enough that we didn't have to default to a spot, we could just keep moving as we did it, like in a fluent motion. Which also meant that we actually, the full recording of this game was something like 27 minutes, I think, if not less. I think we recall like 22 or 27, I'm not sure which. 22 or 27 minutes. Which is actually fairly short, considering it's Skittergate cap, right? Like, it could easily take longer than that. So not only did everyone do well, play well and safe, but also we did it, again, we flew through it. We never stopped for very long, because we didn't have to. We cleared everything out extremely effectively, and you see here, no one's waiting behind, no one's staying back, we just went through it. That's it. And by this time I actually fended. Let's see if we can get Raskin low. felt extremely comfortable.
Before we start the second part of fight.
Shut up, Michael. No. At this time, I actually felt extremely confident that we could beat it. I just had such a bad day when it came to aim. I remember, yeah, should I do it? I really like doing it. I'm always like, just headshotting because I get my ammo back, even though I deal no damage. But yeah.
Me fly through.
Again, as soon as he has aggro on someone else, shoot the controller. That takes aggro, deals a lot of damage, staggers him, gets the Raskin to fall off as quickly as possible. Somehow he just shot me through that thing. That was annoying. And I'm actually a little bit sad here that the battle wizard kind of cheated a bit. Normally, again, as I also told her after the fight, I get it. I'm the last person to sit here and be like all righteous about cheating in Vermintide and using glitches. I mean that's what it is, right? Like, exploiting. I'm the last person to sit here and be righteous about that. But what bothered me was just that I felt like we were playing so well, everyone, that we could have easily done it without. So it was mostly that I felt like it was unnecessary. Is probably the right way to put it. But again, I don't no hate at all whatsoever. That would have liked the clean run for the video. That was all. But of course, she didn't know I was recording, so can't really blame that. And you know, I have to say it's almost like they had watched my video on this exact boss fight. I don't know if they have, just to be clear, but it may just be that they're experienced enough to know that you're supposed to either be one in each corner or two on either side, going in tandem up and down. But one thing was clear, everyone understood the underlying mechanics here, which again just made the boss fight feel like nothing. Like, it wasn't hard. And that's the thing about the Raskin boss fight. If everyone knows what they're doing, then it's not a hard boss fight. Like, unlike, for example, I would say even if people know what they're doing, and the Enchanted Slayer can still be a hard boss fight, I would say. Even if everyone knows what they're doing, you're still gonna feel challenged. You're not just gonna fly through it without any problems, unless you really like, of course, if you had 4 best players in the game, I'm sure, no problem, right? But you get what I'm saying. That's still gonna present a challenge, even if you know how to sort of cope with that. Whereas the Raskin boss fight, if you know what you're doing, if everyone knows what they're doing, then it's not as hard as it may appear at first. Yeah, that was it. That's the hard part over. No one dropped even once. And no one was even close to dropping, right?
Battle with a cheater.
just trolling her a bit.
I think we could have beat it without, but it's okay.
Going all defensive, huh, J-Rat? No, I'm just joking. Just messing around.
Yeah, I know, but still, it's okay. Like I'm the last person to blame anyone for doing it. I just felt like we could have done it legit for the video, but it's okay.
But like, not only did no one drop, but no one was close to dropping. Every scenario where we had someone, myself included, who got low, healing was available because everyone was playing well enough that there was always plenty of healing. And so, as you can see, yeah, sudden death, abduction, cataclysm.
GG well played. GG well played.
And yes, really well played. I told them that momentarily, I believe. If I recall correctly.
Mayflies, the gate is down for good. I am unstoppable.
This is the gravity elevator I was referring in a different intro. This is the only elevator, as far as I know, that has nothing pulling it up. It's just anti-gravity.
And there we go. The wheel.
And yeah, I'm afraid, unfortunately, everyone was holding down space, so I'm afraid I didn't get the final damage numbers. But yeah, that's what I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something about playing Shade. I know it wasn't that technical, but again, if anything, it showed you just how easy team play, like how much it makes up for mechanical skill. Because again, if everyone just does their job, no more, no less. And I really mean the no more part again, because again, what a lot of people, they either overcompensate or undercompensate, where it's like they either don't care at all about their team, or they're just trying to fix everything themselves, right? So just rushing ahead, trying to kill everything, because nothing can even reach my teammates. And none of those, like both of those approaches are just wrong. You have to worry about your team. You have to be able, in moments of sort of excess mental capacity, in moments where you're not fearing directly for your own safety, where it's not like, oh shit, I'm about to die. In those moments, you have to have some sort of contemplation about, okay, one teammate there, health okay, one teammate, health okay, you know, oh, that guy's over there. Maybe I should keep an eye, you know, maybe I should keep an eye on him because he's a bit far away right now, so maybe I should actually rotate halfway there so that should he get hit by an assassin, I'm then close enough to help him. Stuff like that. That really, really helps and just makes for a more fluid, easy gameplay where you just breeze through maps, get your loot, move on. Again, it's not the most interesting gameplay-wise to look at, but it's the kind you want to do when you're farming loot. Because, like, it's sort of like with aiming, smooth is fast. Okay, smooth is fast. And fast is good. So, yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, I love you guys. Stay awesome. Peace out.